accommodate radio and television to make sure that we are able to show our viewers the first pitch. And here it comes. And it's a strike to Aaron Rowan, the center fielder in Game 4 of this series is underway. Rowan this season hitting .299, 8 home runs, and 33 RBIs.
We've done a nice job since they moved him in the leadoff spot.
That was done out of necessity as they were trying to find anybody to get out in front of Sandoval. And the Marshall Wireless starter for the Cardinals, Todd Wellemeyer, 16 starts and a record of 6-7. At times, Al, it has not been pretty, but when he is right, we've seen him before. When he's throwing the ball very well, he can be really tough.
It's been rare this season, as he had a career season last year, 13-game winner. We've been finding his mechanics all season long. Highest opponent's batting average in the National League is off of Wellemeyer, and the lefties have just owned him.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Aaron Rowan. And a fly ball hit out to left. Backing up, Brendan Ryan under it and makes the catch. Hour earlier with this start, so the Sun could provide fits for Ludwig in right field. Rowan, Wynn, and Sandoval in this lineup, along with Molina, Lewis, and Uribe, Ishikawa, Downs, and Barry Zito. Giants batting order here this evening. And here's the switch hitter, Randy Wynn. He's in right field. He can play left and center. Right now the Sun has gone behind the clouds, but their first pitch, you could see the Sun really could be tough in right field. And also a portion of it was shaded on the way coming to the plate, but Wellemeyer was in the sun.
Randy Wynn, one of the hotter hitters in the Giants lineup. 5-game hitting streak and multi-hits in 4 of those last 5.
And he is 5 for 14 in this series. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. The home runs have been an issue for Todd Wellemeyer, giving up a bunch of extra base hits.
He's given up 11 home runs, 10 of them to left-handed batters. Like you said, a lot of doubles and even triples.
Inside. Wellemeyer's last start, his shortest outing of the year, and that was that 100-degree temperature day here at Busch Stadium just last weekend against Minnesota.
Last couple starts, one thing, he still continued to hit him at a ferocious pace, but pitching less innings.
1-2 is hit down the right field line. Ludwig a long way to go get it. Randy Wynn on his way to second base with a stand-up double with 1 out here in the first. A look at the Cardinals defense tonight, presented by Auto Tire. Chris Duncan, Colby Rasmus, and Ryan Ludwig. Tyler Green, Brendan Ryan, Skip Schumacher, and Albert Pujols. And the battery tonight, Todd Wellemeyer and Yadier Molina. Here's Sandoval. And finally, Sandoval was kept off the bases last night. And of course, he had the costly mistake of the dropped pop-up by Colby Rasmus. As we said, you know what, you do that at this level, more times than not, they get an extra life. They burn you, and Rasmus did the rest last night.
Sandoval was first time in 26 games didn't reach base. Hit or walk, error.
And the Cardinals have kept him in check in the series, 2 for 12.
And he's only 2 hits in his last 14 at bats.
Sandoval is a switch hitter as well, so it gives Bruce Bochy some flexibility here in the middle of this lineup. Fouled back. The Cardinals announced at a press conference this morning in Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, they have agreed to terms with a free agent outfielder, Wagner Mateo. He is 16 and considered by many to be the top amateur free agent on the market from Latin America. And the signing, of course, is conditional on a physical, but they gave him over $3 million. How about that? $3 million. It was 3.1 actually for a 16-year-old down in the Dominican Republic.
6'2", 190 at 16 years of age.
Say he's got a very good arm. He throws left, bats right. Good speed, so physically gifted at the age of 16. 2 balls and 1 strike. And if you were going to compare a body type at this age, people were saying it was like Hanley Ramirez at that age. Really run the risk, though, of giving a young man that kind of money. A grounder, staying with it and making the play. Skip Schumacher at second base. Good play by Schumacher. Let's take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. And this is first inning runs the last 6 games. It really tells the story for the Cardinals.
A couple wins in there, and
So when they score first inning runs, they win, and when they allow those runs, they have lost. First inning runs are key to the game, and standing over at third base, it is Randy Wynn. You really run the risk, Al, of signing a 16-year-old to $3 million because you wonder about the motivation. You know, the motivation should be to be a major leaguer, to have a great career, but you have that kind of success financially early on. They take some of that motivation, that drive away.
And you talk about changing lifestyles. Third world country to now buy and have anything you want, and you're only 16.
Benji Molina, we have seen in this series, and really we saw it in the first series in San Francisco, low ball hitter. He has gone down and gotten some pitches that didn't seem to be hittable, and he's turned them into base hits.
He drove in the only run last night with a sacrifice fly, which, by the way, he leads the National League in sacrifice flies.
0-2 the count with a runner at third base. That's Randy Wynn. The 0-2 pitch with 2 outs. That graphic really telling. First innings for the Cardinals and scoring first. And it's not just been the last 5 or 6 games. That has been all season long for the Cardinals. A huge differential when they trail early on or if they're up early on.
It's about 3-1. You know, they win if they score first. How do you get a piece of that one?
His average is .259. His on-base percentage, Molina, .267.
But, you know, he leads all National League catchers in home runs and RBIs. He leads the National League in game-winning RBIs. So when he, you know, we've talked about the sacrifice flies. Unbelievable how shallow. I've noticed that earlier.
And a strikeout as Wellemeyer gets his first of the ball game. They strand a runner at third. Cardinals coming up. No score as we move to the bottom of the first. San Francisco strands Randy Wynn over third base. And let's take a look at the Cardinals lineup. Brendan Ryan, the shortstop, leading it off, followed by Skip Schumacher and then Albert Pujols. Ryan Ludwig, Yadier Molina, and Chris Duncan. Tyler Green, Todd Wellemeyer, the pitcher, batting 8th, and Colby Rasmus drops down to the 9th spot in the lineup. Cardinals face a good one when he's right. He's 4-7 this year. Our Marshall Wireless starter, Barry Zito.
He hasn't figured out the Cardinals yet. He's 0-3 with a 4.57 ERA, and the Cardinals are hitting as a team .352 against him. And you look at some of the numbers Cardinals hitters have there are just absolutely gaudy, including Brendan Ryan, who is hitting .571 against Zito.
He's been very good in this spot in the lineup, too, when he bats leadoff and starts. Zito works from that third base side of the rubber, wears number 75 for the Giants. And away we go. First pitch, up and away. And speaking of guys from out of this country that could have an impact, like we were talking about with the signing of Mateo, as Brendan Ryan looks at a strike on the outside corner. Aroldis Chapman is a lefty from Cuba that throws 100 miles an hour. He defected today from the Cuban national team. So he defects from Cuba. He was playing for the national team. There's that curveball. And they were playing over in the Netherlands. And so he is in Europe, they say. He's not going to disclose his location for obvious reasons, but people expect him to sign Al for $30 to $50 million when he comes to the U.S.
Who puts out these numbers?
I guess it was something that the Yankees have talked about that they want to get involved in. You remember when Jose Contreras came over? He got 4 years, $32 million from the Yankees. So Chapman, he throws 100, but they have question marks about his other pitches. Or the talk is that he could get $30 million. 1-2 pitch to Brendan Ryan. Shoots it into right field for a base hit. A look at the defense for the Giants presented by Auto Tire. Lewis, Rowan, and Wynn in the outfield. Fred Lewis, his first start this series. Sandoval, Uribe shifts from second base over to short. Downs is at second tonight. The battery is Zito and Benji Molina. Giants defense brought to you by our friends at Auto Tire. And it brings in Skip Schumacher. And for folks that didn't see the pregame show, real nice segment with Cal Eldred. He was in that dungeon, that dark room of the Cardinals, which is considered one of the top video rooms in sports. And Skip was showing Cal all the different video that they have at their disposal. We've talked about it before, and Chad Blair runs that department, one of the coaches, and runs the video side of things for the Cardinals. But they were watching Barry Zito.
Not only what Skip has done against him in bats.
Hits this out to deep left field. Lewis is back. Doesn't look comfortable, and it hops off the wall. It's a fair ball. They're going to say it went over the wall, and a ground rule double. It is a fair ball. A misplay in left by Fred Lewis, no doubt. He never looked comfortable there. He was playing pretty far in and had a long way to go. Coming off the bat of the left-handed hitter, it's going to slice away from the left fielder. But you're right, he's just fighting it all the way. And then he falls down, but the Giants catch a break as it bounces up over the wall. I believe it hit the foul pole here as it went over the wall. And Lewis comes up short on the play. Lucky he didn't turn his ankle, and now they're going to walk Albert. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, no surprise here at all. As Pujols up twice yesterday. First two times was walked intentionally, and then he had two singles. So providing the protection tonight, Brian Ludwig, and Bruce Bochy says, let's deal with him. I showed you that keys to the game. The Cardinals in a great position to score here in the first inning. So intentional pass to Albert Pujols. And it's bases loaded here for Ludwig. Inning started with a opposite field single by Brendan Ryan. Schumacher with a double opposite way too. And then the intentional pass to Pujols. So bases loaded here for Ryan Ludwig. I get the feeling, Al, this is an important game for the Cardinals because of the importance of the road trip coming up. This road trip could be a killer trip. If you have a very successful one, it could be a point in the season where you look back and you say, boy, that was where this team took off. But it also could bury you. Cardinals will go back in the Central Division after tonight. Ludwig down the left field line. It is hooking, and this ball is home run distance just about and foul. Remember Ludwig just a couple of weeks ago in Kansas City with a grand slam. Right, first of his career, and he is 3 for 10 in this series. Starting to get some extra base hits now, picking up the pace as he's getting closer to the season he had a year ago, which was spectacular. Last time we saw Barry Zito fought through the innings that he pitched in, and the Cardinals got to him midway through that game. You can see he's not throwing hard at all. That was an off-speed pitch at 68. When he was winning the Cy Young Awards, he was in the 90s with that big bender, but the velocity is way down now. He's actually won 3 of his last 5 starts, but an ERA during that time nearly 6. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Ludwig takes it upstairs. He's in the driver's seat. 2 balls and 1 strike. A lot of pitches up. 4 for 12 against Barry Zito. Is Ryan Ludwig, who's in right field tonight. Set the tone early. Cardinals with a walk-off win last night. Will it carry over to game 4? The 2-1 pitch. Right on it and fouled it back.
Dan, you said that Ludwig has a .333 average against Zito. Of the guys that are in the lineup today or tonight and have faced him, that is the lowest average.
Wow. That's really surprising. Even with his struggles in the National League, that's surprising. I mean, this guy at one point was considered maybe the best in the game.
Absolutely. Got $126 million when he signed. That was the highest ever for a pitcher. And then he said he wanted to change his motion.
2-2 pitch. Ludwig in on his hands and fouls it back.
And I think Dave Rigetti fainted.
Well, he started 0-8 last year, and everybody was trying to figure out what was going on with Barry Zito, the 30-year-old from L.A.
1 for 6 this season. So hasn't quite lived up to the big contract. There's Dave Rigetti. What an outstanding player he was, pitcher he was, and a good pitching coach.
Ludwig. Left field. Will it get out of play? It will. Lewis watches it, but 10 rows deep. There is a big gap in left center field. Rowan is actually shading him just a bit to the opposite field. Does that surprise you? Because you have a guy that's not throwing hard. Ludwig certainly can pull the ball.
I wonder if some of these outfielders, the way they're playing is just because they're fighting the shadows in the sun.
Good point. Look where Rowan is standing right there.
Right. Same thing out in right field. Randy Wynn is kind of standing, you know, in the shade of the light standards.
2-2. Off speed pitch. Missed outside. 3-2 on Ryan Ludwig.
See, a lot of the pitches are up. Not a good sign for the Giants.
But this is where you have to get them, though, while they are up, because at some point he might get settled in.
That's it.
The 3-2 pitch. Ludwig, ground ball. Uribe kicks it. Run scores, and it's 1-0, and still nobody out. By him getting a glove on it, he at least saved the run from scoring, but he kicked it. Base is still loaded, and it is a base hit for Ludwig, and he picks up his 40th RBI.
Would have been real tough play for Renteria to get an out or make a throw. Or Uribe, excuse me, at shortstop, but then when he kicked it, I thought maybe Oquendo would send him home, but Molina coming up. See what he can do.
So again, our keys to the game: scoring early, and the Cardinals have done that as they lead it 1-0. Bases loaded, nobody out. Here's Molina. About 5 hours left in voting for the All-Star game. He shoots it down the right field line. Foul just by about a foot or two. And it looks like Yadi's going to make it and be the representative of the Cardinals behind the plate, along with Albert Pujols. We know that Tony La Russa will be part of the coaching staff. And how about Ryan Franklin again last night, doing a tremendous job at the end of the game, and he's put up all-star-like numbers.
Didn't get a save, but he got his second win. He's 2-0 on the year.
Molina 4 for 9 against Zito. And as Al told you, you're going to see more and more of those kind of stats throughout this lineup.
Yeah. Best is Schumacher, and he had to he's now 5 for 7.
1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, not throwing hard enough to where getting guys to chase that fastball up, or to really have this significant differential between his very slow curveball.
Saw the numbers there with the bases loaded for Yadier Molina. 1 ball, 1 strike. And still nobody out. Sacks jammed here in the first for St. Louis. 2 balls and 1 strike. That just missed. And Zito needs that pitch to have a good night. You start throwing 86, 87 over the middle of the plate, he'll get pounded.
Yeah, he's got to get. Right now, he doesn't have a pitch that he can get a swing and miss.
When you don't have that, location has to be perfect.
So you're not going after pitches out of the strike zone.
The 2-1 pitch, and Yadier hits it out of play. 2-2. Big crowd tonight. what has turned out to be a gorgeous night for baseball. 2-2 the count. Of course, we have the early start, so again, that sunshine really a problem for the right fielder. A little bit for the center fielder, for the first baseman as well. Somewhat for Matt Downs, the second baseman. 2-2, bases loaded, nobody out. Yadier almost hit by the pitch, and here we go again with a 3-2 count. Benji behind the plate, Yadier at the plate. Full count, he's hitting 400, the league average at 234. Bases loaded, 3-2 pitch. He walked him. 2-0 St. Louis. RBI number 25 for Molina. And time is called as Dave Righetti will come out to visit with Barry Zito. Dave Righetti put Zito in the bullpen, and some scouts had said that they thought that was longtime guys around baseball, that was the wrong thing to do last year. But Righetti said, look, you've got to break routine because this isn't working. You've got to get your mind clear. Don't worry about the contract, and let's start getting down to the basics of what made you successful.
Why did they think it was the wrong thing to do?
People felt that, in talking with longtime scouts, and I talked to 2 of them about this, they felt that if you do that, it's one thing when you do it with a young player, but with a guy like Zito that feels the pressure of the contract and the fact that he had a track record for a long time in the major leagues, you let him work himself out of it. I don't necessarily agree with it.
I don't either.
Maybe a change of scenery is the right thing for him to go to the bullpen at that time. Bases loaded, and the first pitch is strike 2, Duncan.
Duncan, a 500 average, 3 for 6 against Zito.
So 3 base hits, 2 singles, a double, 2 walks, still nobody out, bases loaded. Cardinals lead it 2-0. 0-1 pitch. Duncan, a ground ball to first. They'll go to second, out there, back to first. Zito not on the bag, safe. As Albert scores to make it 3-0. If he's at the bag, he's out.
Yes. Got to run under control. You've got to run down the line, parallel to the line, so you can see the bag and know where you are. Right there's a return throw, and just reaches back and he misses the bag, and there, you showed you right there that he would have been out.
Needs a double play here, down 3-0. 1 out, first and third, and here's Tyler Green. We saw the speed of Tyler Green, a factor in one inning last night late when he pinch ran for Chris Duncan. Had a force play at second base, which he was safe. Cardinals, though, could not cash in, but it does give you an idea of his speed. First pitch is fouled back. Tyler Green hitting 237, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. And we had Whitey Herzog in the booth over the weekend, and he talked about Tyler Green even before Brendan Ryan. He likes both, but said Green can play at this level because of his defense. Really likes his D. 0-1 pitch.
And Dan, if you kind of go back to the Brett Wallace thing, and you know, Tyler Green, you know, all Brendan Ryan, all these guys, you know, they're coming up here to just to be a spare part. You do their defense, contribute a little bit. But if you brought Brett Wallace up, he'd be coming up here being part of the answer. And that's not fair, because, and he'd be part of the answer because the ineffectiveness of the Cardinal outfielders.
I think at some point we will see him, meaning September, and I say that because of this. Gloss probably doesn't come back. You don't know about DeRosa, at least speaking right now. And Wallace is your third baseman of the future, is the future next year.
Yeah, in my mind is you have that opportunity to find out if he's ready next year.
Exactly.
You know, a year ago he just signed in June. He raced from A ball to AA, started this year at AA, now is at AAA level. So it would make sense to see us, you know, at the very least a September call-up.
2-2 the count. Big curveball upstairs, and again he goes 3-2. 32 pitches. by Zito here in the first, and he's gotten only one out.
But the thing about Brett Wallace, as Tony noted in the paper today, anybody that thinks, and he was pretty blunt about anybody that thinks he should be here, is feeling like they're trying to hurt the young man. So he needs to play, but he needs to play every day at the minor league level.
Green strikes out. Big one for Zito. 2 away. And now he has the 8th place hitter, which in Tony La Russa's lineup is the pitcher. This is one of those times where this does not favor the Cardinals, using the pitcher batting 8th.
And isn't it about 50-50?
Not 50-50. So 2 outs, runners at first and third, and Wellemeyer grounds to third, force play at second, and the Cardinals are through. But a big inning as St. Louis has 3 bases. Burgers. By Auto Tire. For the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. And by Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at STLchevy.com. Back in St. Louis, big crowd. Over 40,000 expected tonight. Ryan Ludwig and the Cardinals have themselves a 3-run lead. Ludwig got things going with his 40th RBI with the bases loaded and an infield single. Molina the bases loaded walk. Duncan a ground out. And the Cardinals have a 3-run lead. Fred Lewis leads it off, followed by Juan Uribe and Travis Ishikawa. Against Todd Wellemeyer. 6-year-old ballpark of Petco Park, and they had a B delay. Not a rain delay. A B delay. As play was halted in the top of the 9th inning. Houston and San Diego. Swarm of bees gathered in left field near the foul line. We had this on the pregame show. I don't know if you saw it, Al, but
I did not.
It was unbelievable. Like watching National Geographic. They were swarming. Duncan makes the catch for the first out. And a delay in that game.
Where are the Swallows when you need them?
The Swallows from Cleveland? Is
no, from San Juan Capistrano. Every year.
I have no idea what you're talking
about. Every year,
about.
the spring, the Swallows return to one of the California missions.
What were the birds in Cleveland?
Those are seagulls.
And they were gathered around the rooftops around the Cleveland ballpark. And I remember, and we had this on the pregame show as well, we had all those bugs and moths at Old Busch Stadium when Barry Bonds went back. Speaking of the Giants, remember he went back to make a catch, hit off his glove, and went over the wall. He didn't take, you know what? He didn't blame the bugs, though.
Kevin Mitchell in the old ballpark caught one with his bare hand and in foul toward the territory and left.
He later said he had no idea why he did it. He said it was just reaction. Not sure why I did it, but he did it. 2-1 here on Wanyaribe at shortstop tonight, with Renteria getting the night off, and Travis Ishikawa is on deck. 3-0 Cardinals here in the second. Big road trip, though, for the Cardinals coming up. Cincinnati, first of 3 tomorrow night. We'll have all 3 on Fox Sports Midwest. Off day Monday, and then we head to Milwaukee, and then we've got 4 with Chicago. It's a doubleheader on Sunday against the Cubs. Up the middle and ripped for a base hit. Joel Pinheiro and Homer Bailey tomorrow night. If you're traveling and can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast at home, catch all the action on your computer on the road at MLB.tv. Over 100 live out-of-market games per week, and for complete details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Last time out, really rough outing against Minnesota for Todd Wellemeyer. Took a no decision, 2 1/3, and Tony La Russa had seen enough.
Remember the time before that, a real rough outing in New York.
That was a 6-4 loss. He went 5 2/3 in that game. Giants with 2 base hits tonight. Here's Ishikawa. Outfield is straight away, and the 1-0 pitch is taken low. Two 2-0 the count. How about a double play ball here for Todd Wellemeyer? Long look and a 2-0 pitch. He was up there ready for it and knocks it out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ishikawa, they're trying to figure out if this guy can be their first baseman and regular everyday first baseman.
When we were out in San Francisco, he didn't look like he was much of a hitter, but now he's one of their hotter hitters.
Played in 12 games, the big leagues in 06, none in 07, 33 last year in 08. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giants last year were 72 and 90, 4th place in the West. Old Busch Stadium. Kevin Mitchell with the catch, running near the line, the old turf. 2-2 pitch. Taken upstairs, and this is what the Cardinals do not want to see. Extended counts with Wellemeyer on the mound. Be aggressive inside the zone.
Well, he's just really struggling against left-handers. You know, they're batting over 350 against him. I would have been tempted to start an all left-handed hitting outfield tonight if I were the Giants.
3-2 pitch. Don't start the runner. Double play. 6-4-3 double play. When we come back, we'll show you a little history from the old Busch Stadium. That's Kevin Mitchell. Ninth place hitter Colby Rasmus. Ozzie Smith down the left field line, and Kevin Mitchell foul territory with an incredible grab at the old Busch Stadium. He'd be an athlete to do that.
Kind of overran it, and then it was easier for him to reach up with the bare hand.
0-1 pitch to Colby, who was the hero last night. There's so many things that went into that at bat with Rasmus. The drop by Sandoval in foul territory, which would have put him away. And also, as you were watching that, you saw in the at bat with Bob Howry a pitch that was so close that at times was called a strike last night. And Colby said he was looking for a pitch to drive. That wasn't it. And if he would have been called on strike, so be it.
Yeah, he could have gone either way, that 2-2 pitch.
The 1-2 to Rasmus, up and in. Petco Park busy as Troy Aikman, new owner of the Padres, partial owner, NFL Hall of Famer, throughout the first pitch. They had the Bees today in the ballpark, and Manny Ramirez returns for the Dodgers tomorrow. Changeup that time, and a swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts by Zito. Saturday afternoons made for baseball. This week Fox brings you the national game of the week. David Wright and the Mets take on Chase Utley and the Phillies. Tigers battle the Twins. Dodgers Padres. Fox Saturday baseball this week. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Here's Brendan Ryan, the leadoff man. And the first pitch is taken for a ball, up and away. Singled to right his first time up in the first, and scored on the base hit by Ryan Ludwig. Cardinals have been thrilled with the defense that Ryan has given them. And it seemed like he really turned the corner, especially at shortstop in the series against the Atlanta Braves. At that point in time, Khalil Green was the everyday shortstop. There were a couple of balls it seemed like that he could have gotten to. He didn't. Ryan had a spectacular series defensively, and he was telling me the other day that's when he felt finally at place in the big leagues with that defensive series that he put together.
Look at his batting average now. It's 297.
And he strikes out on that curveball. Sharp break that time. And 2 strikeouts for Zito in the inning, 3 in the game.
You kind of touched on it. The Cardinals did get 3 runs, but he could have had a lot more. And now he's starting to settle in. There you see that curveball. It starts out the eyeball and then bounces.
It's one thing to do it against a young pitcher. It's another thing to do it with a guy that has been through it, ups and downs, and a long career like Barry Zito, where he says, okay, that's my first inning, and now I put that away, and I'm going to try to throw up zeros every single inning after that. Other guys, it just seems like they become unhinged.
Well, that's part of the maturing process. He's talking about how to learn to deal with the negativity. Can't just put it aside and say, okay, that inning's over with. I can't do anything about it, but I can throw up zeros from this point on and keep my team in the game. And they are in this game with Wellemeyer on the mound.
1-2 the count on Schumacher, who doubled down the left field line his first time up. Schumacher in the 2 spot tonight, not leading off. 1-2 pitch to Skip. In the dirt with that breaking ball. Zito, when he was right, the breaking ball would start at about the shoulder of a left-handed batter. Late break, sharp, and wind up right in the glove of the catcher, middle of the plate. Nothing a left-handed batter could do. 2-2 pitch. Back to Zito. Schumacher retired, and the Cardinals go in order. We play 2. Matt Downs is the second baseman tonight for the Giants, and he'll lead it off, the 8th place hitter, followed by Barry Zito and Aaron Rowan. The Cardinals lead it 3-0 here in the third. First pitch by Wellemeyer is taken for a ball. So on the bench tonight, Shireholtz, Renteria, Whiteside, and Torres. One-0 pitch to Downs, taken for a ball outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
First time we've seen Downs in this series. On this road trip, 3 for 17, but a home run. And a .231 average against right-handed pitching.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Downs. Popped up behind home plate and into the seats. Two and one. How about Bruce Bochy? The first 3 games of this series, he went with the same lineup. I don't know if we've ever seen Tony do that 3 days in a row.
I don't think so.
Be a good trivia question. Last time he had the same lineup 3, maybe 4 or 5 games in a row since he's been here in St. Louis. It is always a rotation for Tony La Russa, it seems like. And for the most part, he's had success with that as his players do play hard. And it's a leadoff walk, so not what you want to do with a 3-run lead. Cardinal baseball tonight on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By the Casino Queen, home of the loosest slots. And by Taco Bell. Get a $5 off admission coupon for the All-Star Game MLB Fan Fest now at Taco Bell. City is starting to take shape.
It's a new cityscape. New park down Market Street.
Zito gets the bunt down, a beauty down the first base line. Wellemeyer to first to get Barry. And the sacrifice good. Sacrifice 1-3. Well, tonight, right now, the last night to cast your all-star ballot. Cardinal fans can make a late push to keep Pujols and Molina in the lead. And here's the deal. Fans who vote at least 20 times online and choose Cardinals as their favorite or second favorite team will be entered automatically to win the Vote Cardinals Sweepstakes Grand Prize. 2 tickets to every All-Star event at Busch Stadium. And vote before midnight tonight at STOCardinals.com or at MLB.com. Aaron Rowan looks at a strike, back to the top of the lineup. If you missed it during our open, it was Al and Jim debating whether or not Brett Wallace should be up right now. Al taking the stance that he should be in the minor leagues, more seasoning. And Jim, of course, saying that he wants him up. We'll show you the results momentarily of what the fans said.
Well, you could put it this way. The fans could have their wish and the manager wouldn't play him. You know, when in spring training, when some of the media were talking about Brett Wallace making the team, the next day Tony sent him out to the minor leagues.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
And 74% of you fans want to see Brett Wallace right now.
One and 2, 1 out, runner at second base.
And Tony says you're all trying to hurt him.
Ooh, that's on the outside corner. Good pitch. Second strikeout for Todd Wellemeyer tonight. And there's 2 outs.
Just freezes Aaron Rowan. And Todd Wellemeyer has a little better command. You know, the last few times out, he just didn't have command of his changeup. His slider wasn't very good, and he couldn't locate his fastball. Not a good combination in order to win.
Randy Wynn, in many ways, underrated. Switch hitter. Every year you look up at the end of the season, he's hitting 300, plays 150 games. He's good defensively. He can steal bases. Doesn't hit a lot of home runs. 34-year-old from L.A. That pitch is a strike. He's been with Tampa Bay, Seattle, and San Francisco. I mentioned he was a very fine basketball player that played at Santa Clara with Steve Nash when he was back in college. Team that upset Arizona in the NCAA tournament. He also had a half-court shot at a Clippers game a couple of years ago and won a car and gave that to his mom. As he heads to a lot of NBA games.
He's one of the best in the National League in this situation. You know, he has a .458 average with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. 5th best in the National League.
On deck, Sandoval. 0-2 the count here on Randy Winn. Was been with Tampa Bay, as I mentioned, and he said one of his greatest influences was Fred McGriff and also Greg Vaughn. The Cardinals saw him at the end of his career. 1-2. Fred McGriff had an outstanding career, and you don't hear his name associated with performance-enhancing drugs.
Crime dog.
.458 for Winn in this spot. One ball and 2 strikes. Randy Winn, first time up, he doubled. And he hits a fly ball out to left. Coming on is Duncan. Out is Ryan. Chris Duncan with the catch. And avoiding contact with with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Cardinals with a 3-run lead, and here's Albert Pujols. Bruce Bochy intentionally walked him his first time up, sitting on 30 home runs. Pujols now intentional walks with 27 this year. Overall, he's walked 63 times and only struck out 33 on the season. Comes in hitting .337.
Mighty swing on a floater coming up there.
1-2 the count. Great numbers, obviously, for Albert this year, as he'll make a bid possibly for the Triple Crown of the National League. The 1-2. On the inside corner. And Zito strikes out Albert Pujols, who has words for the home plate umpire. That's Todd Tichenor, the home plate umpire, and Albert can't believe it. It happens.
It looked like a pretty good breaking ball. And it's where it crosses the plate, but I think Albert's saying it was high and it finishes inside, but not when it crossed the plate.
So 4 strikeouts for Barry Zito. Last base hit for the Cardinals was Lundwick in the first. And Zito is set down 7 straight. And a swing and a miss by Ludwig. So rare strikeout by Albert Pujols.
Rare for him to argue a call, too.
0-1 pitch. And that's a high strike to Ryan Ludwig. 0-2. Barry Zito, 6'4", 215 pounds, an accomplished guitarist and published photographer. 0-2 pitch. His father Joe was a conductor and composer for Nat King Cole, and his mother sang in the group with Nat King Cole. 1-2 pitch. That's pulled foul. Giants post-Bonds era trying to make a statement with pitching, and that's one of the reasons why they gave Zito that monster contract. They knew that it was coming up at the very end of Barry Bonds' career, trying to redefine who they were, and it started with Barry Zito and pitching. But we've seen some great pitching here with their young starters, Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, Randy Johnson has a win in this series. And if Zito can get on track, this would be a very tough team to beat in the second half.
It sure would be, Dan, but I'd be thinking twice before I'd want to deal with the Oakland A's, especially when you're talking about a pitcher. Seems like they know when to get rid of their pitchers right before they get hurt.
The one I didn't understand was Danny Aaron.
That's true.
That's the one that
some people never understood why the Cardinals traded him.
Me being one of them. As Ludwig strikes out. August 2nd is Build-A-Bear Workshop Day at Busch Stadium. 12,000 kids ages 12 and under with a paid admission get a free Berry limited edition Cardinals Pup. B-E-A-R-Y. Get it, Al? Okay. It's Build-A-Bear, so it's Berry limited edition. For tickets, call 345-9500 or visit stlcardinals.com.
Future movie star there, or
absolutely
current one?
Had to look. You know, if you went back and looked at the 04 postseason, Danny Herron was working out of the bullpen for the Cardinals. And at the end of that year, he was also starting in regular season and then bullpen in postseason play. And he was one of the better starters the Cardinals had. Now you wouldn't even think about doing that.
I agree, but you know, sometimes when you're trying to win every single year, you just don't want to take a chance and develop young pitchers and let them have that growth.
Molina down the right field line. It is slicing and foul. If you go back to that point in time too, if you're Walt Jocketty, you're saying, okay, I've got Edmonds getting older, another year of age on Roland. I've got Pujols, prime of his career. If we're going to win, we've got a window of maybe 1 or 2 years where this guy, if he's right, can get us over the hump.
You're talking about Mulder.
Yes.
Yes, and so that's what I'm saying. You know, so in order to always have that competitive team, a lot of times you don't want to go through the growing pains with young players.
2-2 is tapped foul. Albert Pujols still upset with that called third strike.
Right, where you can have a, you can have a Kobe Rasmus being a rookie. You can have an Albert Pujols. You can bring along one of those guys, but it's rare that you have as many rookies as we have on this club right now and still a contending team.
And Albert has said he wants to be on a contender. If ownership shows that they're willing to spend money and put a contending team on the field, he stays.
And he said he'd take less money to stay, but under that condition, it's all about winning.
Popped up, right side, and that'll find the foul territory and also the glove of Matt Downs. We play 3 here at Busch, 3-0. Ready for the 2009 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Catch all the action from the Cardinals' home, Busch Stadium, Tuesday, July 14th, 7 o'clock Central on Fox, and this one counts. 3-0 St. Louis. Pablo Sandoval leads it off for the Giants as we move to the 4th inning. Sandoval signed as a non-drafted free agent in 2003, and he signed originally as a catcher. And he was very good as a catcher last year. As a matter of fact, switch hitter, gunned down 30 of 68 runners in the minor leagues last season. Not too shabby.
But with Molina being back behind the plate, right now he's got to find another position.
And a ground ball hit to second. He also has to find another position because they have one of the top catchers in the minor leagues that they like defensively, and he was a great college player, so they'll move Sandoval either to first or play over third base.
Yeah, and he's done the job in that situation.
Well, twice he has grounded out to second. It brings in Molina. You see the Firestone leaderboard at the top of your screen. Benji Molina, game-winning RBI leaders. He's at 12, and as Al told you, he had the game-tying RBI last night, tied it up at 1-1 as Adam Wainwright was masterful. He was gutsy as he went 9 innings, well over 100 pitches, and struck out 12. Most strikeouts for a Cardinals pitcher since 2006. Chris Carpenter against Pittsburgh struck out 13. On the outside corner and a check swing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He really pitched and deserved a better fate, but Wainwright with that career high 12 strikeouts.
And a liner into left center field. Duncan can't get there. Drops in front of him. A near collision last inning with Duncan and Brendan Ryan.
Yeah, they're both laughing about it, but it wouldn't have been funny if they would have ran into each other, and didn't really look like Duncan called Brendan Ryan off. But take a look at the last pitch. As Benji hit it hard, and did he have some top spin? Ball up out over the middle of the plate. When you have top spin, it just you know, you hit the ball and it never gets elevated. It's like a sinking line drive.
Kyle Loge making a rehab assignment start tonight, and the second batter that he faced just hit a home run against him. Cardinals would like to get 1 start from him before the All-Star break, and that's why these starts for Wellemeyer and Thompson individually are so big for them. You see the gold, the gloves of Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols for the Gold Glove winners.
Yeah, if you're a Gold Glove winner, you get the gold patch, a Rawlings patch right there, signifying a Gold Glove winner. See, Albert's is a couple years old.
Benji, a 2-time Gold Glover, and Yadier, of course, won it last year. Good pitch, but taken for a ball by Lewis, who flied out to left first time up. By the way, for Tony La Russa, June 18th through June 20th of 2001 against the Chicago Cubs, he had a lineup that was the same for 3 straight games back in 01.
Somebody must have been hurt.
High fly ball out to center field. Rasmus back with room and makes the catch. Take a guess who was in that lineup.
0-1.
So your leadoff man, second baseman,
Vina.
Fernando Vina, batting second, and I would have to say playing third base. Guy that is now
Scott
playing.
Rowland.
Well, Polanco.
Oh, and that's
before the trade. And then you had Edmonds, McGuire, Pujols, Ray Lankford, Renteria, and Mike Matheny back in 01. Some thunder in that lineup. 2 outs, and here's Uribe.
Saw a little deal in the paper, one of the letters to the editor or something like that, where it was a Ray Lankford fan that wishes that Ray would be recognized. And he's in the top 5 in most offensive categories in the Cardinal history now.
1-0 pitch. Hit down the right field line and out of play. And you hear McGuire and Pujols in the same lineup. Remember, early in Albert's career, he played in the outfield, and that day he was in right field. Lankford was in left. One of the reasons that Pujols moved to first base was because of the elbow. and a lot of attention was made of it this offseason because he had the surgery, but he was dealing with that elbow for a number of seasons.
The surgery he had did not alleviate the elbow problem. It was just sort of a temporary situation, a very minor.
Fly out off. U.S. Cellular Cardinals live from the Aqua Bar at Lumiere Place. Player interviews, of course, you'll hear from manager Tony La Russa. Pat Paris and Rick Horton break down the game. All coming up on the postgame show, U.S. Cellular Cardinals live. I know it's been enjoyable for both of us to see Lee Smith back at the ballpark and in uniform with the Giants.
That's right. A couple times a year he'll join the club as he's helping out a lot of the minor leaguers, but what a great personality he has.
Drafted at age 17 by the Chicago Cubs, first-round pick, and Buck O'Neil can lay claim to that as he recommended to the Cubs to draft Lee Smith from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Randy Hundley was his manager in the minor leagues that convinced him that his future lied in the bullpen.
Did it ever? He was a dominant closer for a good period of time. And his longest tenure with any one team was with the Cubs, as he was with 8 different teams, 478 saves. So he was the all-time saves leader until Trevor Hoffman passed him. And I know Lee Smith has been asked about the Hall of Fame, and he said there's a few guys that have gotten in that maybe have paved the way for me to have that chance to at least be looked at.
I think once that Suter got in and Gossage gets in, or got in, that it kind of opens the door for him. And Zito is quite the strikeout pitcher now. That's 6 now.
He struck out 4 the last 6. The numbers don't lie. 478 saves. So 6 on the night for Barry Zito, and here is Green. Again, All-Star voting ends tonight. Some races heading down the stretch for positions in both leagues. Big breaker in there for a strike.
How is Rowan doing?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the latest, as they've been trying to update it daily. See exactly where these guys are.
Let's see, 3rd in the batting average in the American League, Scott Rowan.
He might be a guy that, even if he's not selected by the fans, would have a good chance to make the team. And we talked about last night that Jason Marquis, another former Cardinal, would have a very good chance with his 10 wins.
10 wins, leading the National League, or the first to 10 wins.
In the American League, the tight races are Ian Kinsler and Dustin Pedroia at second base, Kevin Youkilis and Mark Teixeira, Boston and New York again for the first baseman. Jacoby Ellsbury is trying to sneak in. You have Jason Bay, Josh Hamilton, and Ichiro. Some great choices, though. You've got Torrey Hunter, Carl Crawford of Tampa Bay. It'd be tough to leave him out.
And you mentioned last night that they have expanded the roster by one.
Yes.
To 33 now. And you always have the debate, should every team be represented?
I think now more than ever it makes sense when this one counts. Could have a lesser player from a down team make the team, and you could have a number of players from a very good team, maybe more deserving, and yet one or two of those players on the outside looking in when you have a chance to try to win the All-Star game. Green pulls it foul. Number of years, Kansas City, recent years, tried to figure out who would be their representative, and this year, pretty easy. Zach Greinke would be a guy that should make the team. 1 ball to 2 strikes here on Green. Albert Pujols trying to be the NL top vote getter for the 3rd time in his career. That's 7 strikeouts for Zito. Catches Green looking. The Giants sweep a doubleheader from the Cardinals with identical 1-0 scores all the way back in 1933, July 2nd of 1933. This date in baseball history. Presented by Schnucks. And a strike. Well, I'm going to say it's a ball, as Al has one fan here. In his hands, he had it, and that gentleman is saying hello to everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Then he turned around and watched the game. 2-1 pitch. Mullemeyer hits it down the right field line, and a running catch made by Randy Wynn. 3-0 St. Louis. A year ago, Troy Gloss, the third baseman for the Cardinals, goes deep against the New York Mets. And that was just a year ago when the Cardinal third baseman connected. Starting baseball-related exercises down in Florida. The question now, though, is for the Cardinals, can you count on them? Or is it, if you get them back, it's a bonus?
Well, they're talking about it's bonus. Yeah, you would like to think that it would be probably August before you would get him where he could be of any help.
Liner into right field. Ludwig diving catch, no, pops out of his glove. Ishikawa is aboard. So a base hit. Ludwig almost came up with a terrific play.
That's tough. That backhanding, that sinking line drive. And then it didn't look like it ever really had it in the glove. Did we'll get a better look here. Oh, it went off the top of the glove as he. So he had nothing in the leather, and then it looked like it must have carried him off his body.
Boy, they'll be busy during that All-Star week down at Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, 1 block south of the ballpark on Broadway. They provide our Exmo cam.
They're even going to be open during the All-Star break?
Oh, yeah. Yep. They'll be there. Here's Matt Downs. We really appreciate the association we've had with Hot Shots for a number of years. Blues hockey and Cardinals baseball.
And Bulmer, and Julie.
Good people.
Wife Julie, very nice people. Good friends. You ever met them?
Very good people. Absolutely. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Downs, who walked his first time up, and that's fouled back. 3-0 Cardinals. If you've just joined us because of the early start, you weren't with us, you missed out. The Cardinals had the bases loaded in the first and scored 3 against Barry Zito, but since then he's really settled in and he has struck out 7 tonight.
He touched on it in the first inning. As you know, he may settle in and pitch a game, and he sure has, but they got Valdez warming up. They get into a scoring opportunity. Zito is the on deck hitter.
And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mike Shannon on his program over at his restaurant had Randy Johnson on last night, Al. It was fantastic as Randy Johnson really opened up about his career. And there's a ground ball up the middle. Ryan steps on the bag over to first. Nifty play from the Cardinals shortstop to turn the double play.
Very athletic maneuver right there as you catching it, the concentration, hoping it doesn't hit the bag, and hops over it, and then that little sidestep, touches the bag, looks to first, sees where he's going to throw it, and that took a little tricky hop, but he stays with it, uses 2 hands, and that's the only way he completes the play.
Exmo Cam brought to you by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill as Zito takes a ball. Of course, 1 block south of the ballpark. Now, when you think about Randy Johnson, he said, you know, I had so many walks, and the thing that changed it was where I was landing my lead foot and how I was landing. He said he was changing things up from landing on his front portion of his foot to the heel and vice versa, and what that did for the rest of his body as he came over the top, and all of a sudden he had command of which he never had before.
So instead of landing on his heel, now he's landing down, and he finished off his pitches.
Right. It was really interesting.
And it made sense that now he had, you know, he had control of where the ball was going. Before he was throwing uphill.
Zito with a base hit, a defensive swing.
Well, you knew with the double play was going to keep him in the game. And now he helps his own cause with the base hit. Homer Bailey just got called up recently, and he'll be making the start against Pinheiro.
If you're a pitcher and your first name is Homer, that's probably not a good thing.
Well, you could debate whether Walk, as in Bob Walk, or Homer, as in Homer Bailey, which is worse.
Either one isn't very good. I guess I'd go with Walk. No balls and a strike on Aaron Rowan, who is 0 for 2. He's popped out to short and struck out in the 3rd. 3-0 Cardinals here in the 5th.
Well, I think you like K-Rod.
Yeah. A little check swing. He held up 1 ball, 1 strike. Aaron Rowan, a good player. 2007 Gold Glove winner in center field. All-Star that year. Last year he played in 152 games for the Giants. And Carney Lansford has talked about his work ethic and almost to the fact that he hits too much. They tried to pull him back off of soft toss and tee work and extra BP. By the time the game rolls around, sometimes he's worn out.
Well, and that was the case. You know, we heard about Chris Duncan. Remember 2 years ago, he would hit 4 hours a day in the cage. Now, that's ridiculous. I mean, you talk about picking up bad habits. You can't. I don't care how physically strong you are. In 4 hours, you're gonna wear yourself down to where you pick up bad habits.
1-2 pitch from Todd Wellemeyer. And a strikeout. So much better here tonight. San Francisco strands their fourth. The difference is drinkability. The Skyline Chili, Al's favorite, will be there tomorrow. The Cardinals and the Reds on the air at 5:30 from Cincinnati. Final road trip of the first half of the season before the All-Star break. Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and Chicago. And the Skyline Chili.
You can't tell me that is nutritious.
Well, you have to get it with the noodles, not necessarily on the hot dog.
That sounds worse.
You had an issue with Skyline Chili one night.
No, I've never. I have respect for my body.
There's Colby Rasmus, who homered last night and struck out back in the second.
I will recommend to Colby with his hiatal hernia not to eat Skyline Chili either.
I agree with that. That is something we definitely can agree on with Skyline Chili. Don't eat it late at night, even if you don't suffer from what Colby suffers from.
Right.
Because you will be then suffering.
And you kind of look like the cat. That's what he has. He has a gallon of that.
What are you talking about?
Oh, the cat. He loves Skyline Chili.
Colby Rasmus into shallow right field and a base hit. All right. We call these things, these little bouts that you and Jim have, fizzles, where we get the votes from the fans. And apparently Jim wants to win. I don't know what you're talking about with Skyline Chili. Maybe Jim does.
Well, I think he lost the earlier fizzle, so he took a shot at me. Something looks like me. What, Al? What?
Hey, by the way, did you read Tony's comments about what he thought about bringing Wallace up in today's paper?
I was not debating Tony. I was debating you.
Did you read what he said?
Yes.
What did he say? Paraphrase it for the fans.
Tony thinks that Brett Wallace would be best served staying in the minors.
And what do you think about people that recommend him being up here?
He gets angry at them?
Slightly.
Well, Al, it's okay to have an opinion if you like to have Brett Wallace play in the major league. It's okay. Jim has his opinion. And
yeah, no, he's entitled to it.
Al, it was just a good, healthy debate, airing some opinions, and you lost again.
I got at the 2 minutes, you got a minute 30, and I got 30 seconds, but that's okay.
Cry me a river, and then attack me on some Skyline Chili topic. What?
Did you do a feature on Skyline Chili in the past?
I did. I had Ryan Franklin and another player, and the reviews of the Skyline Chili from the Cardinals not favorable.
I think that was my point too.
There's Brendan Ryan.
hard to follow.
No, if you have any, I shouldn't say that. Yeah. I really don't know about the IQ of a cat.
I'm not touching that stuff. I'm not talking about Skyline Chili.
I'm talking about felines.
You and Jim can settle this on the plane.
Is sure he's going to be able to go? He's not having vacation issues again?
Ouch. As Brendan Ryan hits the deck. Big Cardinal fan Tom Morgan watching tonight, as he always does on Fox Sports Midwest. And Tom has just turned 21 and watching the ball game, and then he says he's headed out.
There's an error on Barry Weinberg as he dropped his tape. The bat boy just went over and picked it up.
Well, that's what they're there for, to help out.
Here the tape's in his left hand. Now he go hand it, give it to Barry. He didn't realize he dropped it. And it helps to zip it up, Barry.
0-2 the count. Runner at first and nobody out. 3-0 St. Louis. Brendan in that leadoff spot is struck out and also singled and scored back in the first. Out to right center field. Rowan on the move. That carries. He can't get there. Rasmus on his way to third base. And Brendan Ryan in with a double.
Happy for Brendan, but it was surprising that that ball carried as far as it did. Kobe has a very poor angle, as he isn't sure if Rowan's going to get to this ball or not. You kind of watch the outfielder, and at first it looked like Rowan was going to get to it.
I'm not sure he took a real good route for that ball.
Exactly. I think he thought that ball, and then whether it took off at some point because he had to alter it and start going backwards. And Righetti out to talk to Zito.
So Schumacher digs in. He has a double tonight and grounded back to Barry Zito. Runners at second and third and nobody out.
Not saying this is the case, but remember last inning they were going to pinch hit for Zito, and then the double play happened. And sometimes, it's a real fatal mistake a pitcher will make, but you think you're out of the game, you kind of shut down mentally, and you can ill afford to do that because in this case they got the double play, then Zito had to hit for himself, stays in the ball game, but see if he can crank it back up mentally.
So nobody out. The Cardinals had the bases loaded in the first and scored 3 different times.
Justin Miller, a right-hander, is up now.
So Pujols is on deck, and let's see what Schumacher gets to hit here. Infield is drawn in as we play here in the Cardinals half of the 5th. Puts it in play, and it's a fair ball. Rasmus scores. Schumacher out at first, and it's 4-0.
Just a little too simple of a play, and Ishikawa cannot. He tried to get the exchange, was in his body in position and make the throw home, and never really had full connection with the ball. Dribbles away from him. His only play. He sees in position to make that throw, but the run scores, and they'll pitch it around Albert again.
So second time that Pujols has been walked tonight. The other time he was called out on strikes back in the third. Pressure again on Ludwig to deliver in this spot. Visit On the Run at mobile locations now through July 4th to purchase raffle tickets to win a game-used autographed Cardinals Road jersey from Jackie Robinson Day. And you could be the winner of the Pujols jersey and 2 party room tickets against the Dodgers in July.
And Bruce Bochy's going to go to his bullpen and bring in Justin Miller.
224 against him. So Miller in, and the Cardinals leading 4-0 here in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. Justin Miller has not pitched last 9 days, 8 games, and has appeared in just 3 of the Giants' last 21. So you wonder if he'll be rusty here.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
He comes in.
Skipper, I want to get in the game, but give me a fighting chance.
Tough spot here.
You know what happens when you have had that long a layoff? You can't even worry about trying to execute your pitches. You got to worry about trying to throw strikes.
So 3 walks issued by Zito. A couple of intentional walks to Pujols. And here is Ludwig with 2 runners on. It's 1st and 3rd.
It would drive me crazy if I had to come into a game and I'm trying to mentally prepare, and then I have to order from the bench to do the fake to third, throw to first.
Just want to go right at the hitter.
Right.
Up the middle. Base hit. 5-0 Cardinals. Ludwig greets him with a base hit. You could see there he missed location on a pitch that was up.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Dan. You know, when you have that long a layoff, you're just worried about throwing strikes, let alone trying to, you know, make your good pitch. It's almost like a knuckleball. But it's up, and Ludwig does a nice job of not being out in front, waiting back on that ball, hit it up the middle.
And so here is Molina. Yadier Molina, RBI back in the 1st with a bases loaded walk. He's also popped out to 2nd. You see where Miller drops down there and misses on the outside corner. Runners at 1st and 2nd, 5-0 St. Louis. Big gap in the left center field for Molina. Late with that swing. So Zito tonight strikes out 7. He walks 3. No home runs allowed. And he gave up 5 base hits.
Here those walks were the 2 intentional, another 3 walks, 2 intentional passes to Albert.
And a 1-1 pitch on its way. Yadier Molina out to left field. Fred Lewis over to make the catch. And Pujols back to 2nd base. Ludwig back to 1st. And there's 2 outs.
Ludwig made Bruce Bochy's strategy fail with both times they walked Albert intentionally. Ludwig came in with base hit RBIs. He's starting to swing the bat a lot better now. Now you got to get Duncan. You got to get Ankiel swinging the bat the way they're capable.
So 2 outs, 2 on. Cardinals lead it 5-0. Duncan tonight with an RBI and a ground out back in the 1st, and he struck out in the 4th inning. Fouled away. See Miller here. Really looks like he's just feeling for it.
I can see why he hadn't pitched in 8 or 9 days, but he just looks like he's just trying to get the ball over the plate, and there's not a lot on it. The biggest problem the hitters are going to have is waiting back.
Miller has been with Toronto, Florida, a couple of years. Fouled away. Signed as a free agent November of this past year. 31-year-old from Palm Harbor, Florida. Very deep here for Duncan. Here's the 0-2 pitch.
It's blocked by Molina.
Cardinals in Cincinnati, 1st of 3 tomorrow. The pitching matchups: Pinheiro, Homer Bailey, Brad Thompson on Saturday against Micah Owings, and Carpenter on Sunday against Bronson Arroyo. That's a good matchup there.
Very good matchup, and You like Pinheiro and Thompson, two good sinker ballers. Carpenter keeps the ball down in the zone in that ballpark where the ball can fly out easily.
The pitch hit 81 stadium gun, 80 on our gun. Cardinals about hit San Francisco 6-5. Lead at 5-0. See where these guys are just waiting back. They're out front so far.
Right. It's actually throwing below the hitting speed. And then the biggest question mark you got with Miller, do you get all the way to the front of the batter's box, or do you go all the way to the extreme back end, get it before gravity takes a hold, or wait till after gravity has got it moving down?
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Duncan again out in front, grounds it out to first and Ishikawa. Cardinals strand 2. They've left 4 on in this game, but they lead it by 5. AT&T switched to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Aflac, we've got you under our wing. Gorgeous night here in St. Louis, and the Cardinals own a 5-0 lead. Top of the 6th rolls in. 69 pitches tonight for Todd Wellemeyer. Much better here tonight than what we've seen in his previous 2 or 3 starts.
Wouldn't surprise us the way he's pitched a couple times this year that he would have twice as many pitches at this point.
Maybe he just had to turn the calendar from June. Remember how good he is in May? June he struggled a little bit. Now here we are in July. 5-0 St. Louis. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball taken low in the dirt by Randy Wynn, who has doubled tonight and also flied out to left.
Well, the one thing I know is the last, in between starts this time seemed like he's a little more relaxed. He was talking in very positive tones.
Hit sharply to short for the first out.
Sometimes you can go out there and outthink yourself and just try to keep it simple. Dave Duncan and Wellemeyer worked magic last year. Dave gives you a real good, takes what you have and tells you how you can get people out, and then it's up to you to execute the game plan.
But what have you seen different, though, tonight with Wellemeyer?
He's got command of his fastball. His slider is a lot sharper, and his changeup. He's getting it over for strikes. So hitters go up there and they can't, if you can't throw your fastball for strikes, you don't have a good slider that's got a good downward tilt, and your changeup isn't for a strike, it's tough to pitch.
Just missed 2-0.
There's another thing. Just missed. Where last few times out, when he missed by a foot or two.
I agree with you on the fastball. I think he's got a lot better command with that pitch tonight. That's one thing that Wainwright was able to do last night, establish early in the count strikes with his fastball, which then set up his breaking pitches. Boy, was he good. 3-0.
And Dan, I think that there are times that, that Wainwright got away from using that fastball. And when you use that and then you finishing off your good life in your fastball, you finish off your curveball. And that was a difference maker last night.
I know Wellemeyer's gone back and forth with his mechanics, and it's in his mind of what he should do. And he's even gone into some starts saying, I'm not even going to worry about mechanics. I'm just going to fire it. Remember, for a while he was tinkering with his motion over his head. Comes back here, 3-2.
Well, that's the problem. When you're at this level, when you're out there on the mound and you're saying, okay, do this, do that, it's too late. I mean, those are the things you got to work on in the bullpen. When you take the mound, you just got to worry about how to get that hitter out and trust that your mechanics are going to be sound.
3-2 pitch. This looks like this guy is going to get better and better and better. Pablo Sandoval. And the other thing I know the Cardinals were very frustrated with was body language in his last start, talking about Todd Wellemeyer, and he's projecting something a little bit better here tonight with his body language.
Yeah, his personality isn't one that he's going to be demonstrative out there, but there are times where he just looked like he was lost and didn't want to be on the mound. And that's not the case now. He's out there competing.
Gets a little help there with that strikeout. Chased a ball. And 4 strikeouts tonight for Todd Wellemeyer.
One of the things, he struggled against left-handers this year, but this is a good pitch. I mean, it's close enough to where he gets the hitter to chase a pitch, and if he swings at it and hits it, he can't do any damage with it. Not the location Yachty was looking for, but the effect was perfect.
First time through the lineup, we saw an awful lot of fastballs from Wellemeyer. Second time through is more of his slider, and there it is right there. A ground ball hit to Brendan Ryan. So he's keeping them a little bit more off balance here as we go along. Look at the Cardinals game recap presented by Infinity. Another gorgeous day here in St. Louis. And the Cardinals have a 5-run lead, highlighted by a 3-run first against Barry Zito. Bases loaded walk. Ludwig a couple of RBIs tonight. And it's been all St. Louis, and Todd Wellemeyer has been very effective, mixing in that fastball and slider. You go back to the Rowan at bat, for example. He has struck him out twice. In one at bat, it was all sliders.
Remember how it got real long, the slider, and just kind of went on the same plane. Now it's tightened up and it's going down, keeping it down, and where it looks like it's a strike, and then it falls out of the strike zone.
0-1 pitch to Tyler Green by Miller.
If they hit it, they pound it in the dirt.
Barry Zito 4 1/3 tonight. 5 runs, 5 hits, walked 3, struck out 7, no home runs allowed. 1-1 pitch to Tyler. Breaking pitch. And a swing and a miss, 1-2. Now, we talked about Green's defense being a plus. At the plate at times he looks lost, and tonight is one of those nights where he struck out twice. Maybe he was setting him up with that last swing.
Maybe.
Puts it in play. A little lazy fly ball out to right.
And maybe not.
Randy Wynn there to make the catch. Will anybody be able to get back in the race? Even though we have a long way to go over in the National League West. It's a big question going into the second half, and the addition of Manny Ramirez again for Los Angeles. They lead that division over second place San Francisco. Colorado 8.5 games out. You know, a lot of teams, there's some scouts here at the ballpark a couple of nights ago talking about Colorado. They had seen them play, and they feel they're legitimate.
Now that Jim Tracy's gotten them playing extremely good baseball.
Wellemeyer, a fly ball out to left. Fred Lewis back to make the catch. Friday, July 17th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and over receive a Pujols t-shirt courtesy of SpongeTech.com. For tickets, visit STLCardinals.com or call 314-345-9500. And it's only a 3-game homestand, and Arizona will be in town as the scouts are positioned right behind home plate. Rasmus the other way. Lewis going back in front of the track to make the catch, and the Cardinals go in order. Fred Lewis leads it. And Todd Wellemeyer back to work, and he'll face Fred Lewis, Juan Uribe, and Travis Ishikawa. Babe Ruth lost up to 75 home runs due to a pre-1931 rule that made the foul lines infinite.
No
going
fence.
and going and going and going. There you go. Fred Lewis loses the bat all the way to the backstop. That would make sense that you'd have some of those, you know, for Babe Ruth. He pulls it down the right field line and it hooks. It's fair, but then lands foul. But it is a home run.
Now, you would think you would gain some home runs by running around the bases.
And it just keeps going and going and going.
But the foul line was the thing on the ground. That's a foul pole.
That would be the foul pole. You've got him on a technicality. Here's the 0-1 pitch. You are on your game, Al, when you bring up gems like that.
Why is the foul pole in fair territory?
Well, maybe that's something you should bring up with Tony. You guys can discuss Brett Wallace and that issue as well. Just an idea. Might
say it was a good one, right?
A nice conversation on the plane tonight.
I think the conversation might be how effective Wellemeyer is.
1-2 pitch, and Lewis strikes out.
That's why
Molina throws to Pools.
That's why lefties have been beating him up, is because he didn't have the effective breaking ball or anything to get him out. But there's the pitch there. He offers at it. The ball's down.
And it brings in Juan Uribe. Uribe tonight has singled and also flied out to right. And that first pitch is a strike. You just see tonight the way that he's kept these hitters off balance with the fastball and the slider. It's been effective.
Well, he's been able to, he's got command to where he can pitch on both sides of the plate and change speeds.
0-2.
A lot more strikes.
First pitch strikes 15 to 23. That's a key for him as well. They've talked about him falling behind it. It's many of these hitters, especially recently, and seems like he's made a concerted effort here tonight to be ahead in the count. 1-2. Change of that time. He's thrown 56 strikes of his 87 pitches. One and two.
The changeup as he's just going out there, hitters not knowing what's coming.
And a high fly ball out to left. That will stay in the park. Duncan over and on the track to make the catch. Ishikawa will be the hitter with 2 outs and nobody on. Have a situation in the Cincinnati series where you might use your bullpen a lot, as we've seen other series there. Duncan over and makes the catch on the line. Time to stretch. And so the Cardinals have a 5-0 lead. Home Depot defensive play of the game. And how about Brendan Ryan here with a double play and some nifty footwork?
And over the bag, catches it, looks to the first as he's stepping on the bag and completes the double play.
The Home Depot doing more on defense. Our Chevy called to the bullpen. And Brendan Ryan leads it off against Merkin Valdez, who has appeared in 4 of San Francisco's last 19 games. Lone reliever to appear last Friday night. A pair of walks in the 8th inning. It's allowed at least 1 hit or walk in 19 of his 22 games.
Still, that's not a lot of work either.
Nope.
Right-handed batters have hit .241 against him with 1 home run, and lefties .167.
Brendan Ryan, Skip Schumacher, and Albert Pujols. First pitch at the knees. Some finals today in baseball. Houston over San Diego 7-2 as that game was suspended briefly because of bees on the field at Petco Park. Mets over Pittsburgh 9-8. Cincinnati beat Arizona 3-2. Walt Jocketty now has a team that, at least on paper, is in contention. Cincinnati is only 3 games out. You wonder how active Walt will be.
Oh, I think he will be very active. You know, he was competing for DeRosa also.
2 balls and a strike. And DeRosa, they're hoping that he would not miss all of the Cincinnati series.
Well, if he got the cortisone shot, it's going to be a minimum 3 days with that. So hopeful that he could play as early as Saturday. And yes, he will get a Cardinal hit.
Reds have won 4 out of their last 5, including today. And it's a good story since coming off the disabled list June 23rd. Joey Votto now hitting .395. He was 4 for 6 today against Arizona.
And he had a walk-off.
Nice catch, Fred Lewis. You just wonder about the future in the major leagues for Khalil Green, and they know that Votto is such a talented player, but can he piece it all together? Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill with the Exmo cam and the catch and left.
And I guess in Votto's case, his anxiety disorder started with grieving for his father.
Dad passed away last year, and he said it was very difficult for him to come to the ballpark. Carried over to this season, even in spring training. He said it was very hard being all alone during spring training, and they think they've got that solved, though.
Wasn't it? Was it in his condo or living quarters and had to call 911 because he had one of those attacks and just felt like he couldn't breathe.
1 ball, 1 strike on Schumacher. A double tonight and an RBI. 1-2. 1 out, nobody on. Cardinals start play tonight. 1 game back in Milwaukee. Cincinnati with a win. They're now 2.5 games out. Chicago 3.5 games out. Houston only 4. They're lurking.
Right, and the Cubs right now are playing Milwaukee. Chicago has a 4-2 lead in the 4th inning.
Pittsburgh's only 6 out. They're 36-42, and Jack Wilson, their fine shortstop, had to apologize to the team for some comments that he made out of frustration over the recent trades. We're trying to win, or what are we doing here? Seems like we have one player from Pittsburgh that says that every year. Unfortunately for them, they just have not been able to piece it together. But by all accounts, you talk to baseball people, they feel they've got the right group in place, and they are spending money to try to keep some of that young talent around.
And you can't argue right now with what they're doing because they're trying to stockpile as many prospects as they possibly can. But it's probably what rebuilding mode number 4 or 5. And that's what Jack Wilson's talking about. Of course, he was been rumored to be one of those midseason trades in the past, too. He might have helped his exit. I'm sure that'd be fine with him, too.
Yep. 2-2 pitch with one out. Schumacher.
Bad jump.
Right center. Drops in for a hit. And there was basically no jump by Aaron Rowan, the center fielder, and almost a spectacular play there by Downs.
Yeah, that's what I noticed is Rowan. And we noted, you know, they've been taking this former Gold Glove winner out for defense, but he does not get a jump. You see him out there in the middle of your pitcher, the center fielder, and he actually took a step back. I was watching him more so than thought that it was going to carry a lot further than it did. And Downs immediately went back on that ball, and as he should, unless he hears he's being called off.
Here's Albert with one out. And a runner at first. Pujols tonight walked twice, called out on strikes his second time up against Zito. Giovanni Soto, solo home run. The Cubs now lead at 5-2 over Milwaukee. Valdez, the third pitcher used by San Francisco. Check swing and a strike on Albert. 1-1. Just a ridiculous month of June for Pujols. Arguably his best ever in the major leagues.
Tied his career high for a single month in home runs at 14.
Pujols hits it sharply to second. Out there on to first. 4-6-3 double play. We played 7 here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 5-0 Cardinals. Is 5-0. And how many walk-off wins did the Cardinals have last season? We saw Gloss. Schumacher had a couple against Houston and another one against the Chicago Cubs. 11.
Well, that's surprising, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a lot.
You know, usually when you would have that many, you're talking about one of those miracle seasons where you win the, at very least, the pennant. So it was nice to see the Cardinals get one last night, especially by a rookie. It hadn't happened since 1983, and it was Andy Van Slyke.
Five to nothing St. Louis, and the first pitch is strike. Downs here. Valdez's spot.
Shire Holtz.
He's on deck, and then we'll see Rowan. Swing and a miss. There's that slider again. 0-2. Eighth inning. Cardinals with a 5-run lead. One of the teams the Cardinals will see an awful lot of in the second half, the Houston Astros. They have been here one time, and we have not been to their place.
It's going to be good or bad that Won't have that many. I know late September we see the Cubs. I think that's the final time after this next road trip.
6 strikeouts tonight for Todd Wellemeyer. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, Nate started the first 3 games of this series against the Cardinals off the bench tonight. Renteria is still there. Whiteside and Torres lines it into center field for a base hit. That was pitch number 95 for Todd Wellemeyer. Something about Childs that we've seen in the series. Very aggressive, especially early in the count.
And a little surprising that he didn't start this game with the problem that Wellemeyer's had against left-handed batters. Childs has hit .407 with 3 doubles, 3 home runs, and 8 RBIs his last 17 games.
Rowan 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. And the first strikeout was all sliders, and then he mixed it up last time. Let's see how he starts him here. Fastball. Always interesting to go inside the game and inside at bat to at bat. A great game of baseball.
Fastball away. Of course, Rowan was 3 for 7 previously against Wellemeyer. Fastball away, but just missing.
1-1. In the 4th inning, Cubs picked up 4 in the first, and they lead it 5-2 over Milwaukee. We'll keep an eye on that.
And Reyes is staying on the mound. Metter's warming up for the slider. Metter's warming up for the Giants. Down.
Just missed.
Yeah, down, but in the middle of the plate, and I'd like to get a little further away, but
Cardinals have turned 2 double plays tonight. One back in the 2nd and the top of the 2nd, and another in the 5th.
Fastball away.
The 2-1. Hit out to deep left field. Duncan back at the wall. It's gone into the bullpen. Giants get on the board.
Down and in.
2-run homer for Aaron Rowan, his 9th of the season. He now has 35 RBIs.
Supposed to be a fastball away. It was down and on the inner part, just drops the bat head.
So pitch by pitch brought to you by Chevrolet.
Gets a strike, he gets ahead of him right now. Then he goes out there again. Then he misses down and in. And then there was the killer one. Just really dropped that bat head. He wanted it to fastball away, and you see the glove comes right down and in. And Wellemeyer's had a great game, but
you have with Joining the fun of Major League Baseball All-Star Summer. Bring your family to Major League Baseball's All-Star Fan Fest, July 10th through the 14th at America's Center. For tickets, go to allstargame.com or by calling 888-FANFEST. 39th appearance for Dennis Reyes, the 32-year-old lefty for the Cardinals. His 39 appearances lead St. Louis. Very good against lefties. They're only hitting .208 against him.
You know what lefties are batting Trevor Miller against Trevor Miller? 120.
Outstanding game for Todd Wellemeyer. Can only stand to be the winner in this game.
You know what I like the best about Wellemeyer's outing was he allowed just one walk.
That walk was back in the third inning to Matt Downs, the 8th place hitter. Derek Lee with a grand slam, now 9-2. Cubs lead it in the 4th against Milwaukee. So if the Cardinals hold on and the Cubs win, back in first place.
65 strikes for Wellemeyer at 99 pitches, and Andy Wynn used to be a pretty good hitter. He's a switch hitter, but pretty good against left-handers, .282 in his career. But this year, for whatever reason, he's really struggled. That's why I say he's pretty good off of lefties, but this year he's only batting .102 against left-handers, and he's 0 for his last 24.
Foul ball, 3-2. 1 out, nobody on.
Kyle McClellan throwing in the bullpen. Got a pair of switch hitters right now.
And a ground ball up the middle, base hit past Brendan Ryan, off the mound into center field.
So 1 for his last 25 in face of left-hander Randy Wynn.
This game is not over yet. Here's Sandoval. Sandoval is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. All Wellemeyer can do now is watch.
Well, his numbers are close. 7 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs. Both of them earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed, and here comes Kyle McClellan.
So McClellan coming in for the Cardinals to replace.
Welcome back. As Cardinals are having a little fun. They have a 5-2 lead over the Giants. You might wonder why Tony La Russa brought in Kyle McClellan with a switch hitter coming up. But Sandoval, a .316 hitter from the left side, nearly 400 when he's batting right-handed. And you saw those numbers for Kyle McClellan. Having another good year after an outstanding rookie season a year ago. Kyle from the St. Louis area, now 25 years of age, in his second big league season. Good breaking ball, but doesn't get the call. As Kyle, selected in the 25th round, June 2002 draft, Had a chance to go to Missouri, but signed with the Cardinals. Then he missed a couple years with elbow problems. And off-speed pitch has Sandoval way out in front. Never pitched above Double-A until last season, and broke with the big league club out of the bullpen and was the Cardinals Rookie of the Year. Sandoval is only 22 years of age, but this is a natural hitter. Fastball up, trying to get him to chase it. Pablo is 0 for 3 tonight. He had a great month of June. And the count is full. Randy Wynn over at first base. Pablo a high average hitter, so you wonder if he'll send the runner. Trying to generate something. Doesn't run. And a swing and a miss. Kyle gets him to expand the zone. Fastball right there, pitcher's pitch. Only hope right there was to foul it off. Benji Molina, 1 for 3. Yadier's older brother. Leads all National League catchers in home runs and RBIs. Breaking ball lifted out to left. Will it stay fair or foul? Right around the foul pole and just foul. He has 10 home runs, 46 RBIs. Just notice, Dan, as you look at this foul ball that just went foul, that he only has 3 walks on the season.
Right, that's it. That's why his on-base percentage is so low.
3 walks.
By the way, Derek Lee, we were talking about the fact that he had a grand slam. Also in that game, a 3-run homer in the first. So through 4 innings, Derek Lee, 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. Molina. Is that going to be a foul ball? Yes, it is.
He'd be a better actor and go down to first base.
You got to start shaking the hand.
Sure.
Go to one knee. Get the trainer out.
Running in on there. There you see the foul ball. I don't think you get it back to depth.
Nope. Same pitch. Benji glares back at Kyle McClellan.
Or Yachty.
That's right. What are you doing to me? Let's see what he wants here on 1 and 2.
Curveball. It's got a good one.
Good job of hitting there when you're backed off the plate twice with balls that are exploding late in, and then you throw that breaking ball out and away. He spoiled it.
Looks like another family trait is they're pretty good at spoiling pitches.
Yes, very much so.
That curveball.
Up the middle, base hit. Hard hit into center field, and now the tying run comes to the plate. Out to visit Dave Duncan.
That one stayed up a little bit and ends up belt high and right over the head of McClellan into center field. Pinch runner as Eli Whiteside's their backup catcher will pinch run and go back behind the dish.
We have seen this year where Tony La Russa has gone to Ryan Franklin multiple innings. And here we are, 2 outs, tying run coming to the plate. He was used, though, last night, which may play into the decision here. Also, you have faith in McClellan, but at times we've seen him bring Franklin in, and now he starts to get loose.
Well, this is very important to win this ball game, set the tone for the road trip, and it's going to be a crucial road trip. You're facing 3 of the best teams in your division.
And Lewis hits it out of play.
And with a Cardinal victory here tonight and what appears to be a Brewers loss, Cardinals would have the share of first place. But Cincinnati, the Cubs, and also Houston right on nipping at the heels of whoever's in first.
On pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Lewis here, Uribe on deck. We're now down to Torres and Renteria on the bench for the Giants. One ball and 2 strikes. This crowd has enjoyed this one tonight. Cardinals had a 5-0 lead. It's been cut into with a 2-run homer. And it's 5-2 with a home run by Rowan. Good pick by Molina. You see McClellan right now not able to locate that breaking ball.
Right. And after he hung the one, and a couple others, he just haven't thrown for strikes. But Freddie Lewis really struggling with runners in scoring position this year. Just 191. He's on pace for just 28 RBIs after driving him 40 a year ago.
3-2 pitch. Lewis, ground ball. Pujols has got it. Takes it himself. Giants strand 2. They pick up 2 as they get on the board. Aaron Rowan with our prime cut, brought to you by Hardee's. Hardee's prime cut of the game. And Rowan with a 2-run homer after a single. Goes down to get it and not knocked out. The starter tonight, Todd Wellemeyer. New pitcher is Metters. Brandon Metters takes over on the mound. Schiarholtz in right field, Wynn is in left field, and Whiteside is the catcher. Numbers on Metters this season: 31st appearance. Opponents hitting .273 against him. Ryan Ludwig, tonight's cleanup man for the Cardinals, leads it off. It'll be Ludwig, Molina, and Duncan.
Memory serves me right, Dan, they were just raving about Metters.
They were.
When we were out in San Francisco, he's had a little hard luck of late. Gave up a game-tying home run to Casey McGee on Saturday night. Been scored 4 of his last 5 games, and watch this young man. He's got a ball, he's playing catch. Oops.
Oh, no. No. Oh, no. No, he lost it.
Dad.
Can't you do something about this? That kid, I mean, Barry Zito might be distraught at his start. It's nothing like what that kid is going through right now.
Yeah. Dad, what are you good for?
That is tough to handle right there. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
And you would know if any of those players realized what had happened, they would retrieve it and give it back to him, but they probably thought somebody's throwing at them.
The guys in the truck said, watch this. My heart sank when I saw the little kid and the ball going, oh no. The guy on the left might have been distracting him. Little dancer over there. Oh no. That poor little guy. 2-2 on Ludwig.
Can't James do something?
You know, James is down there running our camera.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Al.
Yeah, James ought to help out. There's James.
You got to go do something, James. Poor guy won't sleep tonight. Ludwig grounds it to third. And the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. Brings in Molina. Walked with the bases loaded in the first. Popped out to second and lined out to left. Yadier Molina.
That'd be great. Yadi makes the All-Star team.
Looks like he will, too.
Should. Now, I thought Chad Blair charts every game and every pitch. I wonder if he saw that little kid throw that pitch. Maybe he could do something to help out.
As Molina hits it out of play, 0-2.
And if Chad is too lofty to help out, he's got 4 assistants or so.
Here's the 0-2. Molina with a base hit into right field. Second time he's been on base tonight. And here's Duncan. Duncan with an RBI first inning. Struck out in the 4th and grounded out. 5-2 St. Louis. Cardinals with 3 runs in the first against Zito, 2 more in the 5th. Molina's off and running. Throw to second, and they got him. Remember, that's Whiteside, and that's not his brother. That threw him out. Gives us time to tell you that Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. By Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. And by Ameristar. More casino, more fun. Anheuser-Busch right down the street. Proud sponsor, of course, Anheuser-Busch. For so many years of Cardinals baseball. Fabric of our community, no doubt.
Well, they own the ball club from what, 54 to 95.
95. I know you had a chance to meet the president of Anheuser-Busch, David Peacock, as David was in our booth a few weeks ago with his kids. And one of the things that they have done here in St. Louis is continue to be very charitable with the number of charities and requests that they get here in town. And I know David Peacock has made that a real important part of his role with Anheuser-Busch.
He's continuing it. And that's why I met David at St. Patrick's Center, the trivia night they have.
He's a wonderful guy and is doing some great things. Duncan grounds out.
Don't forget, coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, Pat Parris and Rick Horton are live at Lumiere Place. They'll look at Todd Wellemeyer's start tonight. Much better for Todd. Ryan Ludwig with another big game. Is he returning to form? And we'll look at where the Cards sit at the halfway point. It's coming up after the game. For now, we go back to Dan and Al, guys.
Should he be an all-star? Ryan Franklin takes over for the Cardinals. St. Louis leads at 5-2. Juan Uribe will be the hitter. I think we both agree that he deserves to be an all-star. First pitch popped up.
Ludwig doesn't see it.
Joe Thurston just checked in the game at second base. Makes the catch. Schumacher is shifted to left field, and of course Franklin is the new pitcher.
I was watching Ludwig and he didn't see it. Now he's telling the infielders to help him out, as we normally experience that early in a ball game. But here it's in the 9th inning with the earlier start.
Ishikawa the hitter. First pitch is strike.
We were talking about earlier, you know, McClellan got out of his little 8th inning jam, but I don't think Tony ever really worries about extending Franklin because he's so efficient. He gets a lot of first pitch outs, throws very few pitches in his saves.
Will he get, though, enough recognition? There's a lot of very good closers. Wilson of San Francisco. K-Rod of the Mets. Houston Street, a good season. Jonathan Broxton of the Dodgers. Hard-throwing right-hander. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ishikawa tonight is grounded into a double play. Singled in the 5th and flied out to left.
Best thing his teammates can do is get him into first place, and then it makes a little more sense to have a minimum of 3 representatives, you know, for a first place club.
And I was thinking that as well, and this next week could be very important for Franklin and the team. You win games, and you would have to figure that he would play a factor in those wins with saves.
Right. You know, they're going to look at, you know, if the Cardinals have 2 starters in Pujols and Molina, which deserve to do it, they win on the vote.
Take a look at our Budweiser player of the game. Budweiser, the great American lager.
Haven't said this name for a long time, have
No,
we?
we haven't. Todd Wellemeyer pitched into the 8th, 7 hits, 2 runs. Both were earned, 1 walk. As you mentioned, that really stands out about the start. And a strike at the knees. Cardinals 2 strikes away from earning a split.
And earning a portion of, we hope, is the Central Division lead.
Well, if you do read Ken Rosenthal at Fox Sports, he has put Franklin on the NL All-Star roster. One more strike. Let's go.
Will they get a ball before this game's over? Give a save to Franklin, maybe a save for Jim Hayes.
Oh-2 pitch to Matt Downs. Little liner. Thurston makes the catch. Cardinals win it.
8 pitches.
Some happy kids for the moment. So the Cardinals earn a split, and we head to Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and then Chicago. Final tonight, 5-2.